There's some films that just, they have this incredible power. They don't just entertain you, they sort of resonate much deeper, touching on these really fundamental human things like, well, connection, memory, maybe even destiny.
Absolutely. Those rare ones, they feel less like something you're just watching and more like something that's, I don't know, weaving itself into how you feel. They stick with you.
They really do.
Yeah.
And today, we're taking a deep dive into exactly that kind of film. We've got this fantastic source here. It's a really detailed analysis of a movie that just captured hearts, well, everywhere. Makoto Shinkai's Yearning, or Kimi no Na wa in Japan.
Right. And our mission, basically, using the material you've shared, is to really unpack what makes this film tick. We'll go through the essential facts in the analysis, get into the heart of the story, look at the characters.
And explore those powerful themes, the analysis highlights, the ones that made it connect with, well, millions around the globe.
Okay.
Okay, so let's dive into those details laid out in the analysis we have. The film, Your Name, Kimi no Na wa, released 2016.
Directed by Makoto Shinkai, known for just, wow, stunning visuals.
Oh yeah, from Japan, and genre-wise, it's romance, fantasy, and drama. Fits all those boxes.
And the core idea, let's say the central thread the analysis points to. Two strangers, one destiny, and a love that travels across time. Quite something right from the start.
It really is. So the analysis introduces us to our two main characters living in, well, very different worlds. First up is Mitsuha Miyamizu.
Right, she's in this quiet, very traditional mountain town, Itomori, and the analysis describes her feeling kind of hemmed in, tired of the rural life, the old customs, just longing for something else.
Yeah, a deep yearning. The analysis mentions her looking up at the sky, feeling that dissatisfaction.
And she actually makes this really specific wish, doesn't she? To be a handsome boy living in Tokyo in her next life. Such a contrast to where she is.
Totally. And then miles away, you've got Taki Tachibana.
He's right in the middle of Tokyo's chaos, the bustling city life. The analysis paints him as busy, school, part-time jobs, caught up in that urban rush.
He spends time drawing buildings. The analysis notes that specifically. Sketching.
Yeah, sketching buildings. And there's this feeling he's also searching for something he can't quite put his finger on, but it feels like it's missing.
Okay, so here's where things get, well, really wild, as the analysis explains it. The trigger is sudden, unexplained at first. Taki wakes up.
And he's Mitsuha.
Right, in her body. And Mitsuha wakes up.
Often Taki's, yeah. Crazy premise.
It leads to these incredibly awkward, often pretty funny situations, right? Suddenly navigating totally unfamiliar bodies, friends, routines.
Oh yeah, can you even imagine waking up as someone else entirely? It's wild.
Seriously. But it's through this bizarre, confusing experience that they actually start to connect deeply.
That's what the analysis really highlights, how they start leaving notes for each other, messages scribbled in notebooks, memos on their phones.
Even setting rules for each other, trying to manage the other person's life when they swap.
And it's this communication across the distance, across bodies, that builds their bond. The analysis uses these great phrases like, the mountains meet the city.
Yeah, I like that.
And how through all this, their hearts begin to beat in sync. This really strange situation actually becomes the foundation for, well, everything that follows.
So we've got the setup. The stark contrast in their lives, that desperate wish, the sudden bewildering switch.
And how that leads to this really unique understanding, this bond built through notes and rules.
Exactly.
And what's so powerful, as this analysis points out, is how the story then shifts. It escalates from this kind of funny, lighthearted body swap thing.
Something much, much deeper.
Yeah.
And actually quite tragic.
Yeah. The analysis walks us through the moment the switching just stops. Abruptly.
And Taki, feeling this really deep connection, this worry, he tries desperately to contact Mitsuha, right, to find her.
But as he searches, digging into it, he finds out something shocking.
Her town, Itomori. The analysis states it was destroyed 3 years earlier by a piece of the Tiamat comet.
Which reveals this devastating truth the analysis really emphasizes. Mitsuha isn't just far away in space, she's in the past.
Yeah. 3 years in the past.
It just completely changes the stakes, doesn't it? Has Taki been connecting with someone who's already gone? Is it too late?
The analysis then guides us through Taki's desperate attempt to bridge that time gap. It describes him traveling to her village's sacred mountain shrine.
Right, the place where she left the traditional Kuchikamizake.
Which the analysis suggests is this symbolic link, right? A way to connect to her time.
Yeah.
And he drinks it.
And this act, according to the analysis, it allows for one last, seemingly impossible connection. It leads to that incredibly moving meeting at twilight.
Katawaredoki,
yeah. The analysis notes this isn't just any twilight. In Japanese folklore, it's like a magical time when the boundaries between worlds can blur.
So on this mountain peak, kind of on the edge of time itself, they finally meet, face to face. For real.
It must be just overwhelming. The analysis describes them holding hands, just overcome, promising they won't forget each other, they'll remember the name.
Taki tries, right? He tries to write his name on her palm just as the twilight fades, just before they're pulled apart again.
But then, when Mitsuha looks down at her hand, after they're separated, the analysis notes all she sees written there is, "I love you."
The feeling is there, but the name is gone.
It's heartbreaking.
And after that, the analysis describes Kaim moving on. Their specific memories, the switching, the meeting, the promise, they start to fade. The names get blurry, the details just slip away.
But there's this feeling left behind, this persistent ache, this sense that something or someone is missing. Like their hearts remember what their minds are struggling to hold on to.
So they spend years searching, the analysis explains. Not even consciously knowing who they're looking for or what exactly, but they're driven by this deep, kind of inexplicable longing.
Until that one day, in Tokyo, snow falling. They pass each other on these stairs. They stop.
And there's just this instant recognition, but it's not memory, it's something deeper.
They turn back, drawn together, tears in their eyes, and they finally speak those lines the analysis highlights as the absolute peak, the culmination of everything. Have we met before?
What's your name?
Just chills. It brings the whole thing full circle so beautifully, so earned. Now, maybe we should reflect a bit on the characters themselves, how the analysis presents them.
Yeah, good idea. Mitsuha is portrayed as, well, graceful, deeply curious, but also with that powerful longing for a life beyond her town's traditions.
The analysis really paints her as this fascinating mix, traditional roots, but this rebellious spirit, that very human yearning for something bigger.
A different world, yeah.
In Taki, the analysis characterizes him as determined, artistic, sketching those buildings.
And fundamentally really kind-hearted. The analysis calls him a modern boy with an old soul, which I think is a great description. Suggests that depth beneath the busy city's surface.
Yeah, definitely. And even when the specific memories fade away, the analysis emphasizes that his heart holds on to the feeling of that connection, that bond they've forged across time and space. It's still there.
So, putting them together, the analysis suggests they're almost like cosmically linked.
It uses that metaphor like two stars meant to meet no matter how far the skies stretch, which feels right, doesn't it, for this kind of impossible, fated connection.
It really does. Which brings us to the deeper meanings the analysis pulls out of the film.
Yeah.
It makes it clear this is way more than just a simple love story.
Oh, absolutely. It offers these really profound thoughts on time itself, how fragile it is, how it might not be strictly linear.
Right. It suggests that love, that deep connection, isn't necessarily bound by clocks or calendars. It can, well, transcend lifetimes, impossible distances.
And maybe the most resonant idea, the one the analysis really lingers on, even if we forget a name, even if the details fade, our hearts can remember the feeling.
That deep, almost primal sense of connection stays with us, on a gut level.
So thinking about all this, about this powerful story illuminated by the analysis you shared, what does it mean for you, listening right now? Why did your name strike such a chord with so many people all over the world?
Well, maybe, as the analysis implies, it taps into something really fundamental in all of us. That universal feeling of searching, of longing, that sense there might be someone, somewhere, we're meant to find.
Or maybe even meant to reconnect with.
Yeah.
The analysis leaves us with this really beautiful, kind of provocative thought to carry away. It suggests that, next time you find yourself looking up at the sky,
did you feel that strange little ache in your chest you can't quite explain?
Maybe, just maybe, someone, somewhere out there is looking for you too.
It leaves you pondering that final, lingering question, echoing the film's end and the core of the analysis we've explored.
What's your name?